Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we're going to explore what the Black Shuck is. One of the most malevolent and terrifying entities, or demonic beings, we've seen in the Conjuring universe, created by Warner Brothers and director James Wan, is the creature known as the Black Shuck, also called the Hellhound or the Werewolf of England. The Black Shuck is a very special demonic entity that, in this movie universe, can sometimes physically manifest and even possess humans, transforming them into a kind of lycanthropic beast similar to the werewolves from European legends. This being appears during the full moon and mercilessly kills humans and animals that cross its path, unleashing a brutal massacre. It's due to its interesting and mysterious origins in the Conjuring universe, directly tied to various real-life legends about werewolves or hellhounds in England, and its brilliant and memorable design, along with its role in the story of Annabelle Comes Home, that the Black Shuck is considered by many fans of the Conjuring universe as one of the coolest and most fascinating demons we've seen so far. That's why in this video, I'll explain in detail the history and origins of the Black Shuck, its physical appearance, what we know about its personality and behavior, as well as its incredible abilities and known weaknesses. Lastly, I'll also talk a bit about the film's production process and what director James Wan drew from to create this monster. In the past, around the 1960s, it was revealed that demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren began investigating the Black Shuck case. This was one of the first cases they covered. The Warrens were called to several rural areas in England where farmers reported that, from time to time, their livestock was found dead and torn apart in brutal and grotesque ways. People said they could sometimes hear very distinct growls and howls, similar to those of wolves or wild dogs. Some farmers encountered the creature directly, and very few managed to escape. While researching the history of this area in England, the Warrens realized that the deaths were connected to ancient legends of the Black Shuck. According to English folklore, it was a demonic entity that took the form of a very large black dog, a hellhound capable of terrifying many people. According to legend, in the 1800s, it attacked a church in that rural area, where it devoured and murdered many people. This event was recorded in an old book written by survivors of that strange incident. Unfortunately, the spirit of the Black Shuck, in some way, became linked to the book that narrated the encounters with the creature. Because of this, anyone who directly read the book or came into contact with it could trigger the inhuman spirit to emerge once again and begin manifesting in the physical world, unleashing death and massacres. There were even strange cases of people who, after reading most of the book, were possessed by the ancient demonic specter and transformed into a beast similar to a werewolf. After thoroughly investigating the entire case, the Warrens discovered that the book was cursed and was the cause of the more recent deaths in the mid-1960s. For this reason, they took it and brought it back to their home in the United States, where they managed to bless it and, in a way, contain the malevolent spirit. Finally, they placed the book inside their Museum of the Occult and the Paranormal. A few years after this incident, the Warrens had to leave town and left their young daughter, Judy, in the care of a babysitter named Mary Ellen to look after her for the weekend. During this time, Mary Ellen's friend, Daniela Rios, decides to visit the Warrens' house on her own to make sure they aren't frauds, to snoop around, and to try to find a way to interact with her recently deceased father. During her visit, Daniela, unaware of the danger, enters the Warrens' museum, filled with cursed and paranormal artifacts, to explore and search for an object that might allow her to communicate with her father. She manages to do this while Judy and Mary Ellen are out of the house for a while. There, Daniela comes into contact with the cursed Black Shuck book and later opens the case containing the Annabelle doll. When the young woman sees the doll fall off its chair against the glass case, Daniela opens the case to fix the doll and make sure no one realizes she had been there. However, Daniela forgets to lock the case, and upon leaving the museum, the demon Malthus, who inhabits the Annabelle doll, uses the doll's special properties as a conduit to help the malevolent spirits that Daniela awakened manifest in our reality. These spirits seek to assist Malthus in possessing and consuming the soul of one of the girls in the house. It is at this moment that Malthus directly awakens the spirit of the werewolf Black Shuck. Later, the girls find themselves in the Warrens' office, where Daniela, Mary Ellen, and Judy begin reading a file about the Black Shuck case that Ed and Lorraine investigated some time ago. There, the girls see some grotesque photos of the creature's victims and the livestock it slaughtered. After leaving the office and putting Judy to bed, Mary Ellen and Daniela spot Mary Ellen's crush, Bob, who decides to visit her since he is a neighbor of the Warrens. Bob plays his guitar beneath Judy's window to get Mary Ellen's attention. However, when the girls come downstairs to see him, Bob is suddenly attacked by the Black Shuck in the garden. Shocked and terrified, Bob runs as fast as he can and manages to hide from the werewolf in the chicken coop in the Warrens' backyard. One of the chickens, seeing the door open, escapes, and although Bob tries to stop it, he can't prevent the chicken from being brutally crushed by the monster, terrifying him even more. Later, when Judy goes to retrieve Mary Ellen's inhaler from her car after an asthma attack, she comes face to face with the demonic wolf, which attacks her inside the car and tries to drag her out after tearing a hole in the roof. Judy quickly escapes the car and runs toward her house. Just before the creature can catch and tear her apart, Bob appears and rushes to defend Judy from the Black Shuck, striking the monster with his wooden guitar. Although the blow shatters the instrument, it doesn't actually harm the Black Shuck, but it buys the kids a few precious seconds, allowing Judy to safely make it back inside the house. However, the wolf monster chases Bob again, forcing him to hide once more in the chicken coop. Eventually, Judy, Mary Ellen, and Daniela manage to lock the Annabelle doll back in its glass case and its blessed prison while briefly fighting off the other spirits that the demon Malthus had released. This is what drains the energy or power from the Hellhound's spirit, essentially preventing it from manifesting physically again, effectively ending its story within the Conjuring universe for now. Now, by analyzing all of this in detail, I will talk about the Black Shuck's physical appearance, what we know about its personality and behavior, and explain its incredible abilities and known weaknesses. The Black Shuck, or Hellhound as its name suggests, has the appearance of a black canine creature. Its form is somewhat humanoid and very similar to traditional werewolves. It appears to Bob and Judy as a bipedal being, so dark that it seems to absorb light. The fur near its head is a lighter shade, almost gray. The creature has 2 long arms and 2 long legs ending in grotesque, razor-sharp claws. Its head closely resembles that of a classic werewolf, with more animalistic than human features. It has a large, elongated snout, sharp teeth and fangs, and 2 large yellowish-brown eyes, giving it a terrifying and sinister appearance. In the movie's concept art, we can see that the Black Shuck had an alternative, more animalistic and chilling design, being completely quadrupedal and more similar to the Hellhounds of legend. Personally, I believe this design could represent the form the creature takes when it successfully possesses someone, although this has never been officially confirmed. We don't know much about the Black Shuck's personality, but what we do know is that it's a very wild and ferocious being that sadistically enjoys killing living creatures. Because of these qualities and its direct connection to demonic entities, we can conclude that it is a malevolent, sinister, and macabre creature. This creature possesses incredible abilities that make it very difficult to defeat. First of all, the Black Shuck has extremely sharp claws and teeth, which, combined with its superhuman physical strength, allow it to tear apart anything in its path with little effort. It also has impressive speed and agility, making it an even greater threat that is very difficult to escape from. Its most terrifying ability is its invulnerability. Since it is not a completely physical being, conventional attacks do not affect it at all. Additionally, on certain occasions, it can use stealth to better hunt its prey. Despite these incredible abilities, the Black Shuck does have some weaknesses. First, it's implied that it is not as intelligent as other demons and behaves more like a wild animal. This makes it vulnerable to being tricked at times, as seen when Bob strikes it with his guitar and manages to make it disappear for a few seconds, as this somehow frightens the entity. The fact that this being is not entirely tangible can also be considered a significant weakness that its enemies could exploit. Lastly, some holy artifacts like crosses and Bibles are also implied to be among its weaknesses, as they can significantly affect it. It's suggested that these objects prevent it from fully manifesting or could even drive it away. An important detail to mention is that since this being is implied to be a demon rather than a traditional werewolf, silver might not actually harm it. The film's director, Gary Dauberman, mentioned to producer and screenwriter James that he wanted to introduce the Black Shuck into the Conjuring universe. Initially, it was going to appear as a possessed Black Hound plush toy that, on the night Annabelle is released, would gradually begin to manifest through growls and howls until it finally transformed into the quadrupedal creature. James Wan loved the idea, but suggested to Dauberman that the demonic hound be turned into a werewolf, as it fit better with the real case the Warrens investigated in England. One decided to draw inspiration from the original Black Shuck legends, which describe a malevolent and demonic spirit that takes the physical form of a large black dog, almost the size of a small cow or a young horse. According to English folklore, this entity terrorized rural dirt roads across the UK. According to legend, anyone who encountered this creature and looked directly into its red eyes would die within a year, as this spirit is considered an omen of death. One took all these references and hired his friend, conceptual artist and special effects expert Justin Raleigh, to help create the creature's final design. They wanted the monster to be brought to life with practical effects, blending a classic design with something fresh and original. That's why the monster appears as a werewolf that combines traits of traditional werewolves with features of more modern and monstrous interpretations. Everything we know about the Black Shuck in The Conjuring honestly seemed incredible to me and was a concept well implemented in the film. To be honest, I've always really liked werewolves. I found its design interesting because it had a similar vibe to the werewolves from The Howling or Dog Soldiers, looking threatening and humanoid, but with a more canine and grotesque face. Personally, I would have liked the Black Shuck to appear more in the film, since I believe its presence was greatly reduced in the final version. Even so, I think this specter has a lot of potential, and I would love to see it return in a future Conjuring film or in one of the comics that have been published recently. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Were you already familiar with the Black Shuck? Did you know about its story and origins within the Conjuring universe? And lastly, would you like to see this creature return to the Conjuring universe, or do you prefer it doesn't come back? Share your answers to these questions and your overall opinion about the Black Shuck, the Hellhound of the Conjuring universe, down below. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and share it to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of my new videos.